Hello everybody and welcome to the Daily Splat. Today is video number 7 in our series of 20 previewing the 2012-2013 English Premier League season. And today we are talking about Manchester City. So, after claiming the English Premier League title last season and recording the most improved performance from the season before, gaining an extra 18 points from the 2010-11 season, surely Manchester City are, reimbursing their squad with new recruits, with all this money they've got, and looking to really not only defend that title, but go and claim the Champions League. Well, no. Manchester City are currently the only side in the top flight to have not signed anybody. Is it for lack of trying? We don't know, really. We know that they're keen on Robin van Persie, although so too are Juventus and Manchester United, so we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But the main problem seems to be that they can't let go. They can't get rid of players that they don't want. If you look at the outs to Manchester City have been similarly disappointing. No first teamers have left. Wayne Bridge is arguably the highest profile City player. He's gone. He's gone on loan to Brighton and Hove Albion for the season. They can't even get rid of him permanently because of the wage demands. And Owen Hargreaves has been released, rumoured to be training. Well, he is training with QPR at the moment. Whether he'll sign with them or not remains to be seen. So, but that's pretty much it from players that they've gone. But they're looking at trying to get rid of the likes of Roque Santa Cruz, Emmanuel Adebayor, one of Dzeko or Tevez, or possibly both, to free up the funds so that they can actually bring in players to improve this squad. Because, despite winning the title, there are areas City need improvement, in particular in defence, I'd argue. Looking at the centre-backs, obviously they've got Vincent Kompany, is very good. But alongside him, you've got a choice of Kolo Touré, who, since coming back from his drugs ban, has not been as effective. Stefan Savic, the young Serbian defender who looked very much a liability in a lot of games he played. Or Julian Lescott, who, not bad, but, he's sort of not fantastic as well. He's certainly, I think last season was certainly his best season for Manchester City, and indeed for any club, really. He did a very good season last season, and also wasn't too bad for England in the Euros either. So, they could get by with those centre-backs, but the point is it's not about getting by, it's about, winning things. And I just happen to think, if they lost Kompany for a prolonged period of time, like, say, for example, if roles had been reversed and it was City who lost Kompany and United didn't lose Vidic, I don't think City would have won that title, for example, because that's how important Vincent Kompany is to their defence. And so I just feel that they need a new centre-back in there. Someone like Thiago Silva before he joined PSG, I'm sure would have been ideal for them, but alas, it hasn't turned up. But the fact of the matter is, even if they didn't sign anybody and let go of one or two players, they let Adebayor go through and move to Tottenham, or they finally got rid of Santa Cruz off their books and things like that, even if the squad stayed as it is, it's hard to look past City as being the favourites for this season's title, even though they did only win the last one on goal difference. And you could argue that since then Manchester United have improved, and so too have Chelsea and Arsenal. Even though they're probably going to lose Van Persie, they've got a stronger squad as well. You look at these factors. I'd still say the City team is very, very, very good, to be honest, very promising. You've got the likes of Yaya Touré in there, although there's another African Cup of Nations coming up that might take him away for a month, so we'll have to wait and see there. But, they've still got Sergio Aguero, who had a very good first season for them. You've got Joe Hart in nets, who's a fantastic goalkeeper. There are still very good players in this City squad, and I'd make them slight favourites to win the title. Slight favourites just ahead of United, maybe just a bit further ahead of Chelsea, I'd say, as things stand. But City do have to be careful about how they manage the resources, even if they don't bring in anybody, and I think they will bring in somebody. Obviously, they're very trying to be aware of financial fair play and not overspend and things like that, so they'll be allowed to keep competing in the Champions League once these rules come in. But it's see, the train of thought's just gone. Sorry, everyone. But yeah, so they are trying to be financially viable, and so that's why they need to let go some of these players on huge wage demands. But the way it is, you've offered these players 5-year deals where they're earning 150 to 200,000 pounds a week. To be honest, a lot of them are just going to go, yeah, I'll just sit on the bench and take that, or no, I'll go out on loan and still get the same wage, and City can pay 75% of it, and whichever club I'm being loaned from, 25%. That's all fine with certain players like that. So it is a bit of a tricky one now for Roberto Mancini to try and manage, and he certainly does sound frustrated in some of the interviews he's been conducting recently. He has been saying that he wants to get transfer business done soon, and that just doesn't look likely. So yes, but despite the fact that they haven't brought anyone in, they also haven't really let anyone important go. So I'm going to say Manchester City will be the favourites for the title, but only slight. I think this season is going to be very, very interesting. And of course also the Champions League is what they've got to focus on. Obviously going out in the group stages, despite getting 10 points, was very disappointing for City. So if they get a favourable draw in the group stages, they could quite easily get into the second round. And it'll be interesting to see how they balance playing. If they do make it to the knockout stages, balancing playing in the knockout rounds of the Champions League with the league format. It's a very tricky balancing act, and it'll be interesting to see how these players cope with that if they do get into the knockout stages, which I think they will. I think this will be a better year in the European Cup for City. Possibly quarterfinals, I'd say. Anyway, that is all for today. Make sure you tune in tomorrow when we'll be previewing the season for their quieter neighbours, Manchester United. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Until then, bye-bye.